The journey's almost over, so let's finish this properly. Charging Yukihime, Tota pierces through her chest, crushing her heart, defeating her once and for all. Yukihime congratulates him for this victory, but of course she feels very differently about this. The major beginning starts to come out of her body, showing their true form, and Tota calls out for Xiao Lingxin, who uses the absolute time freeze skill to create an opening. Asuna, Negi, Tota, and Kuramaru use their respective swords, the Slayer of Demons and Galar, and Sword of Twilight to deal the finishing blows, saving the world. But at what cost? Back on the ship, they acknowledge that this must be Negi's answer. Smiling, Yukihime's soul appeared as it shattered into 12 billion pieces, happy that this is how she was able to go out, raining like snow across the entire solar system. Back on the ship, Fate mentions she will come back, and because she is linked to Yukihime now, meaning Yukihime will come back when the time is needed. Thousands of years pass, and we see the current Earth 12,000 years in the future, overseeing a natural landscape where a human city once stood. And dropping from the world tree is none other than Yukihime alone. This may be a reference to what happened to Karin previous chapters ago, if you remember. Yukihime still feels the major beginning inside of her, but this time without the resonance or pain that was once there. Overseeing what was once a place where humans lived, she spots none other than Tota, who now has 3 more swords, but apparently is still maining the gravity sword. Karin immediately shows up on cue and hugs Yukihime, and it seems like Kuramaru and Tota are a thing from their little interaction that we see in the panel. We find out that many other people who normally live in this location are what used to be called demons, devils, and yokai as the origin of humans. The solar system is now designated as a nature reserve with limited areas of sightseeing, and the human habitat has expanded to a radius of 1700 light years. Since Yukihime is here, Tota assumes that the major beginning has deemed the world okay enough to come out, since people aren't suffering as much as they did in the past anymore. And not many humans even remain on Earth anyway, even though some of the wildness of the old days that caused some issues still exist, just on other planets that are so far away that it won't set the major beginning off. And hey, if you guys like this video so far, then maybe subscribe to the channel, comment, or give the video a like. We find out that Tota called the holders, and they immediately hopped over from wherever they were as far as 1,700 light years away via the Anywhere door, which is a Doraemon reference. They are currently running an inn that is apparently as big as a city back in the day called Senkikan, because some things never change regardless of how many years pass. We meet the rest of the remaining holders, and Sep is apparently still a girl, and Tota and the others are apparently having some memory issues, such as not being able to remember Gingaro and Iku's names, even though it's been 12,000 years. So is that understandable, or is that kind of messed up? You decide. Speaking of Gingaro, we find out that there was an event that happened 100 years after the final battle, and Gingaro was an MVP that really helped them out in that situation. Afterwards, he went back home to his own world, and there's so much more that happened, and just like us, Yukihime is overwhelmed with so much information, but I'm sure a very aggressive and assertive Karin will fill her in, probably in private, knowing her. Curious what happened with Asuna and the others, it's revealed she decided not to go back to her life at the academy, and fused with the Princess of Twilight, living as a human with everyone else who is a part of the Negima cast. And they're like one big family on another planet. This planet, which is referred to as Shinobu's planet, aka Cetus. She became a scientific advisor to the government of the human race's first colonized planet. Also, Mizori spearheaded interstellar navigation and died at the young age age of 34, and sadly Tota didn't get to see her in her last moments. That's kinda rough. Kiri also died, but being with Tota made her life a bit better. And of course he has no problem remembering that, but Iku and Gingero, easily forgettable I guess. While they're alone, Tota tells Yukihime that it's not true that nothing good comes from immortality when you have companions, and Tota wants Yukihime to be one of his, and of course she agrees to this as she once thought the opposite. Tota tells her many more stories that could possibly be a spin-off in the future that involves the Negima cast helping them, ending off Yu holders praising the Negima cast for their awesomeness, because we can't stop wanking them apparently. And there we go, that is the end, the finale of UQ Holder. It's been a long journey for me personally. I actually started this series when I was in high school, just looking up genderbender manga on my free time. And of course, I've been on and off with covering this series, but I persevered, we made it here, and I'm glad I was able to try to make these videos the best they could be in its final stretch. And if you made it here with me, then I do thank you. But now, honestly, I feel like I need a break from covering manga in this format for a long while. Tell me, what did you think of the finale of UQ Holder? I thought personally the final battle had some anticlimactic moments and it could have been better, but overall I'd say it was a satisfying ending that holds a lot of potential for the future. Now if you're curious, I do have other manga content on the channel, not a lot, but I have some. And if you want to diversify your palette and maybe find your next favorite series, I recommend checking my other content out. Thank you for watching, thank you for being here, and I'll see you on whatever I cover next, assuming you stick around.